We do have a super from Itsumi24, which unfortunately it says message retracted here. So let us know and thank you.
Yeah, cheers.
And also, I think there's a big one from Cameron Lowe here, because we've been talking about all this content, and Cameron's just dropped a super saying, important to remember, FF14 has no public test realm. It's all internal QA for patches. Now, there is more money in World of Warcraft than Final Fantasy XIV. Like, I'm fairly sure that at no point has FF14 been above World of Warcraft, and say, back when Super Data existed, Super Data's monthly revenue estimates in gaming.
I don't remember seeing it on that chart.
Yeah. So, how is it, and I'm saying this trying to set you up, but I think I know what you're going to say, but it's, how is it that them, as a smaller MMO, less resources to go around, etc., etc., are able to do entirely their own QA, not have any public test realm? How is it that that is possible? And are there any notable downsides of that direction that people actually experience? Like, is content buggy in this game when it comes out? Is, all of those things, like, are there odd design decisions the players would have caught if there had been a PTR? What is it like? I
actually don't really know very much about this historically. I have never heard anything about them being particularly buggy at launch. I honestly believe it is down to, I see people saying, like, it's a few bugs, balance issues, like there's Japanese integrity, Japanese work culture, Japanese pride. You know what I think it is more than anything else? I think it's Yoshi P. And I don't mean this to be like, oh, he's such a hero, he's leading his team perfectly. I actually mean he's a producer. He's a producer first, director second.
Right.
That's where he came from. I can't remember exactly what he was doing on Dragon Quest, but, like, it's his life's work to make FF14, and he's a producer by nature.
Yeah.
So I imagine he's actually just working himself into, because that man has aged.
Into dust.
That man has aged 40 years, looking in like 10 years. It's nuts.
Ah, right.
But that man works himself.
The Obama effect.
Yeah. He works himself into oblivion, and, like, I think it's just production.
Yeah, well, we got, like, Mr., one of our members here, saying, not much bugs, hot fixes come relatively fast too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, cool.
Yep.
Seems like WoW has loads of bugs and design quirks, but hotfixes come slow. Why?
Because I think there's production problems. Like, the documentary about 1.0 is probably a very good thing to look at, because as far as I recall, 1.0 is just run by a bunch of morons, essentially. Like, I saw someone earlier say, I can't remember what the context was, but they, what do you call it? You couldn't jump in 1.0 because the ex-producer said you didn't need to in an MMO. Also, there's no auto attacks, I believe. Someone said that as well.
What a weird game 1.0 seems to be.
Oh, it was a nightmare. I only played it for a couple minutes and I hated it.
Yeah.
But it saved me so much money in the long run with the Lexi sub.
I enjoyed the no-clip doc in that. We got Mugatu saying the internal testing is very good and Yoshida is actually good maybe good at the game, so they know what they're doing, unlike some Resto Shaman players.
Yeah.
Well, I think that bit at the end is a swipe at Ian, because Ian's main is a Resto Shaman. People really like armoring. Grogthog, I think is the character name.
Yep.
But it's the sort of thing, like, Ian's probably played all those dungeons, all those raids multiple times in a way where the armory will never pick it up because he did it internally.
Yeah.
Because, it's just that sort of thing. But that's interesting. Yeah, I don't think it's anything really to do with an individual Resto Shaman, but I certainly think maybe, I don't know, maybe FF has got, their production is better set up to allow for QA and things like that to be good. Maybe they have more QA staff or something like that. Yeah. I mean, I do remember on QA, somebody, they I don't know if it's a leak, maybe it's a leak, but they dropped us a line anyway. How much can you remember? It was the QA tester person. But basically,
I can't remember.
It was not good money per hour, especially considering the living expenses of the area. Yeah. It was like shocking considering the living expenses of the area for Activision Blizzard, with mandatory overtime being a part of their contract. And it was like, well,
Jesus Christ! Like,
that's it. Not that I can bring that up and pretend, and not think about Japanese work culture.
Oh yeah, that's
deeply a problem.
I mean, that's something that I probably will address if we get down to the Soken segment of this document. because
okay, we need to find the izakaya.
Izakaya.
Yeah, we need to find the izakaya where the FF devs go.
That'd be class.
Yeah. So, I said next time we're in Japan, as if we regularly go. We've never been to Japan.
Yeah, not yet at least. But I just worked the game saying Yoshi P has said multiple times that he wished he had WoW's budget. Yoshi P is also a big fan of Blizzard and goes to BlizzCon. Yep, that's right. It's one of the things I think is insane, and this is in a video coming out next week, I think. But like the whole point of like 2.0 was Yoshi P went, right, everyone's playing WoW. That's the game we're looking for. Like that's what we want to do. And they went and played, it was like Cataclysm and Mists at the time when they're making 2.0. And they came out with 2.0. It was, good, but they've just had this line of progression to Shadowbringers, and WoW's not had the same curve of improvement. But it's a case of, it's literally like Yoshi P is just, if you put MMO into human form, it would either be Asmongold or Yoshi P. Basically.
Okay, so we need an Asmongold, Yoshi P, Voltron.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it.
Almost definitely. Oh, man. Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm thinking just because we have loads of FF Supers here.
Tons of them.
It probably makes sense to pause the community stuff, part of the news. And
again.
I think it makes sense. You know what I mean, though.
Every bastard we get. Yeah.
I do think we will get to it because we are at least going to cover another hour so we can get the cliff notes of that the Venruki Halinka interview.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Minstrel is also Yoshi P's own NPC according to a super by Nino. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's literally his NPC. Oh man. That's the kind of stuff that's just funny as hell. Like,
1 second. You have dropped so many super chats, my dudes, that I can actually barely parse through to work out where we are.